Good morning, guys. Good to see everybody here. It's exciting to be here. We're going to be talking about joy in serving, okay? And this is very interesting that I was kind of throwing, the idea to talk about this morning, because we just went through a whole series of this at the church in Montwood, and we talked about this for about 5-6 weeks. And not only did we talk about it, we got to act it out, serve it out, okay? I think it's not only important to talk about things, but we can sit here and talk about things all we want and listen, but unless we actually put it into practice, it's not really going to make sense in our lives, I believe. So I've been thankful. Thank you guys again for supporting our ministry, and we've been able to work a lot with Downs kids lately. And I tell you what, that's been part of my joy, was working with the Downs kids, because I've learned so much from them. And that's something I enjoy serving. And really quick, I kind of, those who get my immediate letter, I'm not sure it's passed around here, I'm not sure how it's done here. But I had shared the story about Joe, who Downs kid. For the last 3 years that I've been working with him, this is one kid that does not react for anything. He does not speak. He kind of rumbles, and he kind of imitates what I do. If I play guitar, he'll go like that. And, he kind of rumbles his voice and talks like that too. But 2 songs, the song that we sing over there at the Ark, is about Noah and the Ark. You got to say an animal, and you got to make the sound. Well, Joe likes that song, so I started getting a reaction from him from that song. En la arca de Noé, that song. And he says he likes cow. So I say, what does a cow do? And he responds, and people are like, wow. The parents are like, wow, he's responding. We never. Later on, I was introduced a song by, of all people, Danny and Kelly, the Chicky Chicky song. Who knows the Chicky Chicky song? And if you don't know, it's just a little silly dance song, and I taught it to the kids, and after 3.5 years, Joe, on his own, stands up, goes to the middle of the circle, and starts doing the Chicky Chicky. Response, everybody was like, even the director was like, I've never seen him. And I was like, hey, wow. So it was interesting to see how people respond to music. And I love serving in that way, so thank you guys for allowing us to be able to do that. And we got a response. That's one reason. And we're going to sing the first 2 verses of this song. You can punch it up, Ron. And it says 10,000 reasons, and we sing 10,000 reasons from our heart to sing. Well, I want you to think of your reason. What's your reason? Of all 10,000 reasons that we can give to glorify God, what's the one reason we should be able to give to be able to serve God and serve each other? So let's sing this song together. We'll sing the first 2 verses. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name, sing like never before, oh my soul, I worship His holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning, it's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name, sing like never before, oh my soul, I worship His holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow to anger, your name is great and your heart is kind. For all your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name, sing like never before, oh my soul, I worship His holy name. Thank you. 10,000 reasons that we can give for our heart to sing and all this other stuff, but what are the reasons that maybe we give so that we don't serve? Sometimes we struggle with serving, okay? We don't understand what the idea of serving means. And for some people, serving gives joy. And we try and sell off serving as maybe joy. Oh, get a gift, it's going to make you feel good, which it does. It does. I hope it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good. But we try and sell it out sometimes as the, if you do this, you'll be happy, which I believe is true. When we serve, we are happy, okay? But sometimes, can you serve somebody, can you serve God and still not maybe be happy? Is it possible? I don't know. I mean, the spiritual, no, because we can't trick God and try and deceive him to think, oh, I'm going to pretend I'm serving you when I really not. No, we can't. But can we serve each other and still have bad attitude? We can. We can serve each other. Might be my turn to bring food for the potluck, and here I go. I'm serving, but I'm not very happy to do it. Or even visiting people in the hospital. I'll go visit somebody. I hate to be there. It smells terrible, but I'll go. And we do that, and we can serve people, but still have joy. We can still be deceiving ourselves. So what is the idea? Why is it so important to serve? Why is it necessary? Do you think serving the church, the local church, is necessary? It is. I believe it is. Because what would happen if we stopped serving? Imagine that. If we just decided one day, okay, well, I'm not going to open the doors. I'm not going to go early and turn on the heater. There would be somebody would have something to say about that, I guarantee. Okay? Or we didn't have all the things lined up, the kids, and it was just, you know what? I appreciate everything that's going on here. Because it seems like I just see so much organization. I love it when they say, hey, Carlos, come on, we need to go pray before that's the way they called me to go pray before the service to make sure we're all online and in sync. I thought, wow, that is great. That's a service. What if nobody did that? And we just kind of, because I swear, because even in El Paso, as we're struggling to find a church building, and you guys remember I explained all that stuff, we're back to square one trying to find a building. So we have a limited time. We can only meet from 9 to 10 because the church that we worship at, the building we worship at that we share, they own it. They start their music ministry, their song service at 10 on the dot, and they are loud. Check. So we have to finish right before 10 o'clock. So we're pressed for time, and sometimes, honestly, it doesn't even feel like I'm serving. It feels like I'm just trying to get through, to that 1 hour. It doesn't feel, So it's nice to be able to come to a place and feel like, what, everybody knows their role. I don't got to chase people down because that's serving. People find joy in serving. So that's great that we can do that and have people that we trust for that. But what about us who are not involved yet? Do you think it's important that we should be involved? 1 Peter 4:10, and I don't have notes, sorry for you guys, but if you want to write that down, 1 Peter 4:10 says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Now, what does it say here? Each of you. In other words, what? Not just the preachers, not just the ones that are on payroll, not just the ones that have the ability, no. It says each of you should use whatever gift you have received for what purpose? Serve others. Now that's a tough one, okay? Because number one, it says each of us, so that means we're all expected to do something. Okay, but what? What are we expected to do, okay? So I want to kind of just do it out there, kind of twist it up. These are some reasons that we have that people do not serve, okay? These are reasons we have, and maybe you might fall in that category because I have definitely fell in one of those categories before, okay? And these are something for you guys to think about or challenge you, okay? Number one, some people don't serve because they feel useless. I don't know if you've heard that. I've never heard that. I know it's there. I just never heard it coined that way. Sometimes we feel useless. In other words, what? How do we feel useless? Well, we already have a preacher. We already have a song leader. We already have a teacher. So therefore, I'm not any of those. So therefore, I can't serve. Okay, that's the biggest one I've heard in regards to that. Okay, if we are not licensed or we're not qualified, we haven't studied to be able to do that stuff, that we're not equipped to serve. Guess what? That's not true. Okay, if you are a child of God and you've taken on Him as your Savior, guess what? You are already equipped. Okay, well, you are already set up to serve. You might not be equipped. But guess what? That's why we need to learn how to serve more, because I want to make sure we help people learn. Okay, I want to make sure we help people grow. I said this before. You guys heard it. The biggest sign of a good leader is not making more followers. It's what? Making more leaders. Okay, that's how we know that we're doing well. We want to develop more leaders. Okay, we want people to come and replace us and take over our spot. Okay, so those who feel useless, maybe they just don't understand that they've been called to do work for God, okay? That verse we just read, here's the whole thing, what it says. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Verse 11 says, if anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. That's a part that might scare people off, okay? That's a lot of authority, okay? If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. So if anyone serves, they should do with what? With the strength God provides. Okay. So when I'm serving, it's not my strength. Okay. Because sometimes we feel like it's our strength, and it's really not. We have to understand that God is the one that gives us that strength. Okay. And here's the reason why. We do it to serve people, but the ultimate result is what? What's the next part? So that in all things, God may be praised through Jesus Christ. That's the reason why we serve. Yeah, we want to help each other out. We want to meet people's needs, but ultimately, the ultimate goal is what? God is glorified. That's what we want. We want to please our God. So when you talk about feeling useless, and whatever case you might be, whether it's financial situation, whatever situation you might be that you feel like, I can't serve, I just don't have the ability to serve, guess what? You are a perfect candidate to serve. Because I guarantee you're going to encourage people. If you are having struggles and all that stuff, and you step up and you serve, number one, you are an encouragement to other people. I guarantee you are. Because we see that and we're like, wow, all the stuff they're going through and they're still serving the church. That is an encouragement. Okay, that is something, you're doing it because you love God, not because you're expecting a paycheck, not because you're expecting someone to say something good about you, but because God has allowed you to experience and go through all that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. You are using that as a motivation to serve. God has been good to me. 10,000 reasons that we praise God. This is my one reason to give God back, specifically in service, because he is so good to us. Okay, God gives you the strength to serve. Okay, so don't be fooled by the idea that just because we have a minister, we have these people, that only they can do that. No, we can all serve in that way. Okay? You are not useless. We need you. Okay, we need you to serve. And here's something I wanted to throw at you that I heard from somewhere, and I like that idea. Because we have heard the idea of we are, what's the concept or what's the phrase? No man is an island unto themselves. Have you heard that? In other words, what does that mean? We can't go with the idea like, oh, I'm alone. No, if I do something or I choose not to do something, that's my choice. It's not going to bother anybody. We've heard that. Guess what? That's not true. No man is an island to himself. And to put it in simple terms, I heard this and I liked it. My choice, our consequences. Think about that. I might make a choice about something that, I'm not saying, but guess what? Who does it affect? It affects the church. I might decide one day to, I don't think I want to go teach class anymore, and I don't go, no big deal, I'll be home, but it's our consequence. We share in your decision. So it affects many people. So don't think that we're useless and we're nothing, because you decide one day to not come, it affects people. Especially the more you're involved, guess what? The more it's going to affect. If you were never involved and you disappear sometimes, that might be, but let's be involved. We want people to miss us. We want people to understand, hey, if that person's not there, it's not functioning the same. What do? We gotta fix this, okay? So think about that. My choice, our consequence. Okay? We are not an island by ourselves. We help each other out. We affect each other. And believe me, I tell you what, right now in El Paso, it's interesting because I work at two churches. I'm at the Northside Church with my dad from 9 to 10. Then I drive 20 minutes away, and I'm with another church, the Mambo Church of Christ, for another hour and a half. Okay? And I get to see a lot of different things that go on. But I can tell, or we can tell, when there's something going on in other churches, okay? When there's something negative going on, because guess what happens? The members start kind of filtering out towards us. And all of a sudden we have visitors, hey, nice to meet you, where are you from? Oh, we're from so-and-so church. Oh, so right away, okay, something's going on. Something's going on there we don't like, so they start hopping around, checking out different churches. So we notice that. We notice that. So that makes me think, I don't think that's a healthy thing to do. If there's something going on that we don't like, let's work to figure out what we can do to make it better. Let's challenge the leaders. Let's challenge each other. Let's not run away and hide and just go find something that makes me feel better. So that's a challenge. Again, it's my choice, our consequence. So make sure that we are working together. We need you. You're not useless. Let's help each other out, to challenge each other, to serve more, okay? And that's the idea. The first one is that some people feel useless. You're not. We need you, okay? Next one we have is some people choose not to serve because they are hurting. Now, can that be a legit thing? I think it can. But again, I think when we have the strength to serve when we are hurting, guess what? That is an incredible example that people said. When I see people that struggle physically and they're there, that is encouraging to me. When I see people struggling, I say, you know what, I really didn't agree with what the preacher said last week, but guess what? He's still my brother. I'm still going to support. That is encouraging. Okay? And I love that fact that we can do that. Okay? And we have to learn. This goes back to leadership. Okay? We have to learn as leaders to be able to understand the hurt. If there's a hurt, in other words, if I've hurt somebody and someone is choosing not to serve because I hurt them, what am I going to do about that? That's a tough one. If I found out somebody was not serving because I said something or I did something, guess what? I have to humble myself and maybe go ask for forgiveness or maybe try and work it out. It kind of works both ways. We should do it together. But that's something to think about. Have you ever thought that maybe someone stopped serving because of something you did? That's a terrible thought. But some people do get hurt, but that challenges us to what? To fix things. Okay? We should be challenged to fix things and be humble. And I've had people come to me before and say, Carlos, you said this, and I struggle with this, and we sit down and we talk, and I love that. Okay? When we went to Florida, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I was out there teaching about this, and the topic happened to be forgiveness. And I love the topic of forgiveness because it's very interesting, okay? Very interesting, that concept of forgiveness. And I talked about how we need to forgive, and sometimes somebody can sin and not even know it. I did something and maybe I hurt your feelings, and I preached about this, and then later on I had a brother who asked me, can I speak to you? And I said, yeah, sure, let's talk. And he said, 2 years ago you came to an event and you did a singing seminar. And I said, yeah, I remember you. And he goes, and you had asked us to write a song, like a little verse, just a melody, just to practice our creativity. And I said, yeah, I think I remember that too. And he says, I wrote something and I was very excited to share with you. And I said, oh, good. And he says, but every time I went to talk to you, you would say, okay, I'll be right with you, because I was talking to a lot of people. And I said, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and you never got to me. And he said, that just broke my heart, because I was so excited to share with this, because I didn't even know I had maybe this gift for doing music. And he told me this, and my heart broke, because I didn't even know. 2 years this guy carried it with him. And then 2 years later, here I am preaching about the topic, forgiveness. And guess what? I had to humble myself big time. Okay? But he says, it hurt me so much because I waited and I really wanted to hear your opinion. And I see what you do and I'm excited and blah, 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 this. And I was like, wow. So there I was, I got to practice that. But again, it's the idea that some people are hurt and they stop serving, because he did say for a while there he got very discouraged. And I thought, wow, that's heavy stuff. So we have to be very careful how we are. Okay, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's hard to talk to many people. But to have someone carry it in their heart and know that for 2 years, and I didn't even know that I was holding this guy back somehow, wow, that was a tough one. So we got to make up, and we actually cried together, and we talked and we prayed, and that was excellent. I loved it. So be ready to understand that sometimes you hurt people, or people are hurt, and we should be able to have the strength enough, the encouragement enough to fix things. That's a beautiful thing when we can fix things, isn't it? When people are hurt and they're apart and they can be reconciled, because that's the idea behind forgiveness. The reason behind forgiveness is not so that we can feel good, because that's not really the idea. The idea of forgiveness is to mend relationships. Okay, we want to fix things. Let's make our relationship better. Okay, because if I can forgive somebody from far without even knowing, I'll forgive them. They don't know that but I forgive them from far. Well, that doesn't really do anything for the relationship. It might make you feel better. But what's it going to do for that relationship that we're supposed to fix as Christians, okay? So some people are hurting and use that as an excuse or as a reason to not serve, okay? If you're hurting and somebody has hurt you, approach them. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to come and share those thoughts, and we should learn how to be compassionate towards each other. Hebrews 10:23 through 25. And this is one of the verses that I think, and I got to remember, Oscar's translating, sorry, but if I'm going too fast, okay? Hebrews 23 to 25 is one of the verses that I think is one of the most abused verses that I've heard. I remember going to sing in Texas one time. I want you to read it real quick. Hebrews 10, 23 to 25. I want to jump to number 25 first. And you guys know this verse. Do not give up what? Meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. That verse right there is one of the most abused, and I'll tell you why. We went to sing in Dallas one time, and we sang on a Saturday night, so it was not very many people. Then Sunday morning we got to the church, and it was a Spanish church, and you know how we are, a little bit hot-blooded sometimes, okay? The preacher went down the row and said, Sandy, why were you not at the presentation last night? Why did you forsake the assembly? That's what he threw it at her. And he went down the row. Why were you not there, Louis? Why did you forsake the assembly? And they went, and I'm like, whoa. That was heavy, okay? Because the Bible tells us we should not forsake the assembly. We shouldn't, okay? We should always be there as much as we can to encourage one another. And I agree with that. But yeah, read 24. Read the verse before it. Actually, read 23. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess. We profess a hope, so let's all hang on to it. For he who promised is faithful. Now check this out. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. And then it goes into what? Not giving up meeting together. So think about that. Okay? It's interesting how we can push one side and say, hey, don't skip church, don't miss church. But we forget about the first part that says what? Let us consider how we may spur, which is another word for spur. Huh? Encourage, okay? Motivate. Spur literally means, I think the translation literally means like to cause, like a horse. You know, when you want a horse to go, you give it a little kick. You know, it might be a little painful, woo, but it gets them going. That's what it's talking about, okay? Sometimes we in the church need a good little, you know, to go. And it's saying we need to consider how to spur one another toward love and good deeds, not giving up the assembly. So in other words, think about this. If we were doing that, if we were loving each other and considering, now think about that word, we'll talk about consider. If we were doing that, do you think maybe more than likely they would not miss the assembly? Maybe they'd come more to church if we were practicing helping each other out and encouraging. But we jump to the part that says, don't miss church, but we forget about the part where we have to take action and say what? Consider what's going to help the church out. And that's what you guys are doing. You guys are changing this look of this building. You're actually changing everything, the concept of how you guys serve, loving others, loving God, and all that stuff. You're considering how to do it because that's what it takes. So as we consider what the church needs, guess what? That's going to motivate people to what? To be here. So let's not forget that. And I love that because that word consider is something that to me, gives me I think of the word creativity. Okay, when we consider something, in other words, God's allowing us to what? To be creative. If I consider my audience and I find out that the young people enjoy basketball and I got a bunch of basketball players here, guess what? That's telling me something. I got to consider how it's going to motivate young people. Okay, maybe we need to consider something about sports to bring people in. If I consider that maybe some people in the church here are, whatever the case, they enjoy doing certain things or they like to go to the movies and hang out together, why couldn't we use that as a way to motivate people and encourage each other? You guys did it. I follow you guys on Facebook. I saw Trunk or Treat. I loved it. I saw faces I didn't even see, and I was like, who's that? Who's taking my spot? Oh, no, praise God. New faces. I loved it. And then I saw the movies in the back on the wall that we had started. I thought, wow, at a school, they're still doing that. See, those are things that we can consider. That was all a result of what? Considering what families maybe could use, what we can do to encourage people. Because when we consider what makes the church motivated and what moves them on, guess what? I guarantee you they're going to want to be here. We're not going to have to argue, why you're not here, why you're not here. No, we need to learn how to what? Consider each other. And as we do that, maybe we find out why people are hurting and why they're not coming. And guess what? That encourages us to what? To seek out the problem and work it out and try and fix things. Because some people are hurting, and it is hard to serve when you're serving people that are the ones that hurt you. That's hard. Not impossible to do, but it's tough to do. Okay? So, and here's the tough one. Nobody likes to hear, especially me, because I went through this. Some people choose not to serve because they are lazy. Ouch, that hurts. I've been there, okay? Some people are. Simple as that, okay? We just don't want to serve. You know, I like going to church. I like being fed. Oh, they got some good snacks. I love when they make the red hot drink and the cappuccino ice cream and all that stuff we do, the drink. But I just don't want to serve, okay? Now, again, that's something we have to work at inwardly. That's an individual thing, okay? So I want to challenge you guys who feel that way, okay, that start. Find a place where you like to serve. Find a place where you enjoy. And this is the part I want to bring into. I think we need to learn to find our joy, or not even our joy necessarily, our usefulness. Because I might be really good at something, but I may not enjoy doing it too much. But I'm good at it, okay? Find out where you can serve it and challenge yourself to maybe do that, okay? I don't like doing it, but I'm good at it, so therefore I'm going to serve, okay? When we can do that, we learn. And this is what I like to do. I stole this from my dad. I told my dad, I'm going to give you credit for this one, Dad. We learn how to serve naturally. Think about that. What does it mean to serve naturally? Okay. What you just enjoy doing, what you feel called to do, when we can feel that, if it's natural for you to see someone hurting and go with them and hug them and say, are you okay? Like Corey, when Corey saw his friend and just went and sat down with them, hey, that's natural for Corey. Okay. How hard would it be for someone to say, oh, we made eye contact. Oh no, I gotta go say hi now. You know, that's hard sometimes. But when we can find something that makes us want to serve naturally, that's a beautiful thing. And that could be anything, guys. It could be visiting somebody. It could be making food for somebody. It could be giving somebody a ride to the doctor. It's just something natural. And when we can get to that point, I think we understand that, guess what? It doesn't have to have a title. It doesn't have to have qualifications. We don't have to be, whatever, called out and go through application. Okay, we want to find someone to do this. Do you qualify? Let the elders decide. No, if it's something you do and you love to do it naturally, that it feels good. Okay, and that can go from every age down, from the oldest down to the youngest, young people. You see somebody that needs encouragement, give them a hug. If you see somebody that needs a note, write them a note. I miss Don Crawford. I used to get notes from him all the time. That was his gift. That was something that was what? Natural. And he write. Of course, some of the stuff he did, he kind of make fun of it. He was a little rascal, okay? But guess what? I understood his heart. I know his heart. It was something he did naturally. We need to find how we can serve naturally. Okay. So as we wind this up, you guys, we talked about doing this, and the Bible says we have a gift. Each of you should use whatever gift. What is my gift? What is your gift? That's a tough part sometimes. Okay, find out. I challenge you to find something that you're interested in, that you enjoy doing. It might be something that you might be surprised what God puts in your way to do. Okay, you might be surprised. A young guy I worked with a lot before I came here years ago, he had the desire to be youth minister. He saw I was youth minister and he said, I want to be youth minister too. Oh yes, I said, oh that's great, that's awesome. But then I learned by watching his example and by watching what he was doing that he was more interested in the title, okay, than the actual service that came to it. So that was tough, and I said, you can't. And I would hear him talk to young people, giving them advice and stuff like that too. I remember a parent came to me and said, hey, what's this guy telling my kid? I go, why? Well, she is discouraged in high school, and she went to go talk to so-and-so. And I said, okay, Dad. Well, he was just telling her to drop out of high school. Drop out of high school, get your GED, that's what I did. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. Okay. He was more interested in the title and actually being able to find how people serve that way. So I had a talk with him, and I said, I told him, hey, you can't be doing that, So as he was kind of a little upset and stuff too, he started kind of just helping out different things, and he found out, and he came to me later on and says, you know what, I just found out I like to work with seniors, older people. I love it, they're so cool. And so he started looking, and he found a place for him. So his mind was set on youth minister, but his heart, God led him to be in a place where he would naturally serve. And I thought, wow, that's so great that we allow God to use us. Don't be afraid to try something, okay? And don't be afraid to try something that might even hurt a little bit. I know right now there's probably need for like typical churches like us, teachers for the kids. That's the common thing in our church too, teachers for the kids. Oh, okay. And we're talking about teachers, not babysitters. Because we can put anybody to watch kids. We're talking about teachers that they can walk out of that classroom knowing a little bit more about God. So we want to pray that you guys are challenged to that. Maybe that might be something you don't know you can do. Okay? So be challenged. Let God move you. Okay? What is my gift? Well, I can't tell you that. You're going to find that out. The Spirit's going to lead you to do things. And like I've always said, the way I feel the Spirit leads me is when I feel uncomfortable. Okay? That's my personal thing. Okay? So maybe when you start being in an uncomfortable state, you'll be like, I don't know if I like this. Give it a shot. Maybe the Spirit might shape you, and you might be like, this is not too bad. Okay? I think I can do this. Okay? What gives you joy? Okay, start there. What gives you joy? Are you happy when you serve? Are you happy when you do this particular thing? Are you happy when you do this? Start with that. Okay, maybe God will shape you and say, yes, you enjoy it, but guess what? I need you here, and you'll be challenged either way. Okay. Here's the last one I want to end with you guys, and I say this a lot. You guys hear me say this a lot. Whether you're hurting, whether you're lazy, whatever the case may be, God has given you an experience that only you have been through. Okay, in that particular situation. Okay. There are other people who have been through similar situations, but I mean that situation is yours. Okay? What are you going to do with it? Now those experiences, situations, they're good, and some of them are bad. But what are you going to do with the outcome? Okay? Are you going to sit back and just complain? Are you going to sit back and just I'll never get no? Or are you going to use that experience to reach out to people? Okay. Let me tell you this real quick. I want to brag on one of your elders. We have a sister in our church back in California, and I'm going to tell you the story because they are open with me sharing. Okay, Jeffrey and Corina, you guys will eventually meet them. Okay, they come from a heavy background. They're both in jail. Both have done this, that. Jeffrey likes to fight. He loves to scrap. Okay, and they got married and they fight and they go away. They come back, serve faithfully in church, and something happens and they back and forth. Okay, well, guess where they come when they fight? San Bernardino. Okay. So now that she's back here for good, she hurt herself, okay? She was in McDonald's, and check this out, this is kind of freaky. She was in McDonald's changing her kid at the play center, where the kids play, and as she picked something up, she ruptured 2 discs in her back, just by getting up, okay? So now she's at Loma Linda Vista Hospital, there, okay? I went to go see her yesterday. So before I came though, I reached out to Danny and Kelly, and I said, hey guys, I have this, please send someone to go see her. And a few days later, she said, one of the elders came to see me, and I had such a good visit. I was so encouraged. I was amazing, thank God. And I thought, wow. And I was thinking, okay, who could it be? Who could it be? Then they said, well, it was John Duvall. I thought, wow, that is so cool. Because honestly, I love John. I didn't think it'd be, I thought maybe it was Corey, because Corey's always did, but it was John Duvall. Then I found out why. Because as she was there, she's sharing how John shared about Eric's loss. Now, how hard is that to talk about? Hard of a term. And here he is, but I don't know the details, but she said, I was just so moved by what he shared, and it made me feel so good because of what I'm experiencing. She's like, well, my back hurts, but that's nothing what he went through, and it helped. And that told me, number one, John is not afraid to share his experience. It probably hurt to share that. Okay, it probably was very uncomfortable to say it, but something within him says, you know what, I need to help my sister out. And they didn't even know each other. God is so good. And they shared, and she was so motivated. Last time when I saw her, she was laughing. She's got a personality that when you meet her, she's just, you know, she's OG style. She's one of the bros because she went from a heavy background and she was involved with a lot of stuff. You know, she tattoos and stuff, but she's got the most beautiful smile. And her out, she says, every nurse would come in and they were like, Karina, how you doing? And they would laugh. She knows everybody. Even a patient came in from the next room and they were talking, they met each other, and she's already starting to meet people. And I said, oh, you got to go to the Valley. So she's excited to eventually come here and visit you guys, and Jim too, okay? So please, when they come, love them, okay? Because they're a great couple, they really are. They struggle, but they love the Lord, and they never stop. Even though they get sidetracked, they're always there, always there. All their kids, we're going to fill this stage up with just their kids, okay? But they're finding their place to serve. And maybe God, even though as much as we hate to lose them when they come here officially, I know that they'll be welcomed here. Whether they decide to stay here or not, that's up to them. But I did say you will meet good people here. And I tell everybody, wherever you go, just be involved. Serve. Don't just go hide out or nothing. And they do. He serves. Jeffrey is very involved in serving. So serving is something that is not natural sometimes to us, but we should learn how to develop it and find our place, because we need each other. We really do. And they're great, the modifications to the building, great everything we're doing too, but now we need to find the people that are willing to change their ways just the way we're changing the building to become more like Christ. Thank you guys for your time. It's always a blessing to be here. We're going to sing this last verse for the invitation song. Again, the reason why, of all 10,000 reasons that we can sit here and give about God and why He's so good, let's try and just work on one reason why we should serve. Okay, because one day when we leave this earth, I want to be able to say that, you know, he was a server. Okay, that guy served or whatever. That I would love people to say that about me. Yeah, he did music and stuff too, but I would love people to say, you know, he served in the gifts God gave him. What are they going to say about you when one day when we're gone? Let's serve in the best way so we can be an example to our kids, the young people, and those around us. Okay, let's stand up together, you guys. And if we can pray for you or whatever the case may be, we are here, always ready to pray. And let's sing this next song, and that'll be our invitation song. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, and still my soul will sing your praise unending, 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name, sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship His holy name, I worship His holy name.